Hand's a little bit resource light, but we have an Arcane Focus to kind of smooth that out a little bit. We'll lead on the Wakuna Coin here. Someone asked earlier about resources that do things. So this resource, you kind of think of it as a tapped land if you're coming from Magic. It doesn't make a resource the turn we play it, but if we draw it later in the game and we no longer need it, we can discard it to draw a new card and gain some life. And a little bit of flood insurance, because flood does still happen on occasion. Opponent's playing a Wild Diamond deck, it looks like. Lanupaw Sight's a great card. We'll look at that in just a second after we Arcane Focus here, looking for a resource. Well, 5 drops are kind of like resources, right? Right? Alright, so Lanupaw Sight, if we're fortunate enough to draw a 3rd resource to play it next turn, this is kind of a delayed 3-cost draw 3. It gives the next action, resource, and troop in our deck the line of text when you play this draw card. So it draws us 3 cards, but not right away. Ding. So my opponent's played a card here called Satyr's Roost Bard. It's a 2/3, and it says whenever they play one of those Valor power-ups, they get to draw a card. This is probably my favorite constructed deck in any format of all time. Not going to lie. Enjoy playing this deck a lot. Well, that's awkward. I'm gonna transmog this now, so that way they don't get to draw cards when they play Valors. This card says whenever one of my opponent's troops that's Ardent hits us, they get to generate a Valor. So those two are pretty deadly together. This card is one of our win condition slash finishers. It has a 12 here. Originally this cost 15. This says whenever you play an action, if this is in our deck or hand, it gets -1 cost. So we've played 3 actions, so it's down from 15 to 12. This is the Burgle-Dirtle. Unfortunately, we are missing our resource drops, though, so not what we want to be doing in our control deck, that's for sure. It's really unfortunate, so if we would have hit a shard drop if we hit a shard drop this turn that's not slow, it would be great, because the Silver Talon Adjudicator will draw some cards, which will propel us into more resources. Alright, it's Thunderfield Seer, it draws a card. So this was prophesized, and then this is prophesized, so it lets us draw a card. Okay, well, we hit our resources here. Turn behind. Unfortunately, we're only going to spend 1 resource this turn, which kind of sucks. When this attacks, it gives each of my opponent's Ardent troops a power bonus. It's a little awkward. And my opponent set up their combo, basically. This card, whenever it becomes Valorous, they get to make a copy of it. And this card says, whenever they hit us, they make a Valor. So now they're going to play all these Valors out of their hand and generate a bunch of Intrepid Conjurers. So they have a bunch of Valors in their hand from the Hero of Legend of the Moonrise Elder, so... Yeah, Glory is very good here, thankfully. So Glory says when he comes into play, he voids every troop with defense 3 or less. So he's just going to clean out the copied Conjurer and that Gust Mage my opponent just played. Ugh. That's the card that when they play Valors, they get to draw cards. Decree of Banishing, sure. Man, we're probably just dead here. You hit from 8. It's gross. I guess you have to lead on Silver Talon Adjudicator, gain 5 life, and draw 2 cards. Deny is going to be a little bit slow. I don't have anything like Dread End in my main deck, so I think we're just going to be dead here. Yeah, I'm just going to pack it up, pack it in. They can Valor all their guys and draw more cards and generate more Valors and keep beating us down. Dread End is very reasonable in this matchup, so is Pride's Fall. I don't know if I want Clash of Steel. I guess the fact that they go wide with Intrepid Conjurer makes Clash of Steel a little bit better. I'm going to cut some of these Lanupaw sites and these Totem Traps. Silver Talon's pretty good in this matchup because it allows my opponent keeps their hand pretty well stocked, so it often draws extra cards for us. I'm going to trim a Deny while I'm on. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and submit like this, I think. Hello, wife. Clash of Steel is annoying. Clash is powerful. It's definitely good against the go-wide decks. Clash of Steel makes each player choose one card they control, and they sacrifice all the rest of them.
Are you still winning? You usually do poorly towards the end of your stream.
Oh, I didn't realize my thing was blocking. Let's move that up so you can see my life total. Well, yeah. So, these resources, this is pretty unlikely. We have all 4 of our wells that are opener. This only makes a threshold if we already have a threshold, so that hand doesn't actually have any colors in it, so we need to mulligan. This hand's very reasonable. Medium minus. Only an hour 6. It's fine. Got this going on. We're in hour 6. Play this Sapphire. So drew another Sapphire. I could double focus this turn and then play the Lanupaw site next turn. Ideally, actually, I'm a liar now. Now I'm going to Thunderfield Seer once we hit that. Ideally, you want to focus before you play your Lanupaw site because you don't want to have to choose between 2 different Prophesized cards and then put the other one of them randomly back into our deck. It is worse than an all-buddy light hit. You're not wrong. Another success.
You broke 2 doors?
Look, your kid's a destructor. I don't know what you want.
I want you to not allow that to happen.
They break their toys. That's what they do.
Okay, well now I have to spend $30 on a new one.
They don't need a new one. So this Transmogrifade is prophesized, so it draws a card when we play it out here. What a great target to Transmogrifade. Let's go ahead and do that. Play this, draw a card because it's prophesized. Another prophesized Transmogrifade. Clash is probably better than a resource. Can pass the turn here. Ten out of 10, just gonna trade my 1/1 for their 2/1. Seems like a much better design. That bar is so low we don't like to use it to judge things. Saying something is a better piece of software than Magic Online is kind of like saying something's cheaper than playing Magic. Everything's cheaper than playing Magic. Like, don't get me wrong, Magic's a fun game, but like, it's expensive, and Magic Online is bad. Like, you know, it is what it is. Just, you know, yeah, be honest about what we're working with here. So my Adjudicator there, it drew us 2 cards, so my opponent had more cards in hand than us. If they attack us with this Hero of Legend this turn, I'll probably Transmogrifade it and then block if I have a profitable block. That being said, one of the things that gives Hex a big advantage over Magic is that Magic's resource system is really clunky for playing on the computer. Holy crap. Gives it 2/2 and Spell Shield. Well then, it is not being Transmogrifade. Gonna block so they don't get the Valor here, I think. This drew me 2 cards. If it dies, I really don't care. I'm gonna start by cycling this Wakuna Coin, flooding out a little bit here. Okay, Dingle's not bad. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and play Clash of Steel here. This makes my opponent pick one of their 2 cards to keep, so it gets rid of one of their 2 threats, and both their threats are pretty good. I expect them to probably keep this one. I guess this is slightly better against Darkheart. So, we're kind of out of gas here. But thankfully, next turn we're going to play our 7th resource, and then we'll be able to generate this card that draws us 2 cards. Hopefully that can help us get back into the game a little bit. Well, I guess we're doing that. Drawing some cards. draw some non-resources? That's a good one. So, Dark Heart of Nulzann says, at the beginning of each player's turn, they sacrifice a non-socketed card, so hopefully they don't have removal for this. We're about to get Pride's Fall, aren't we? Yep. Smells like Pride's Fall. This deck's actually, we're running a little bit poor in this match, but this deck's actually very good. I top 8'd their last 5K with it, and it's got pretty good match results on the ladder for it. I enjoy playing bad decks too, but I also enjoy playing control decks, and I like when they're good. So my opponent drew the removal spell for my Dark Heart, but not before it made them sacrifice their Hero of Legend, so that's pretty good for us. This card doesn't sit there and generate Valors like their other one did. Play this Thunderfield Seer out. So, you know, we've got a bunch of resources in our hand, but we're actually not in a terrible spot anymore. I've got a Chump Blocker for a turn. I've got another Chump Blocker. And these cards prophesize to draw a card down the line. So, at some point, my next action that I draw is going to draw 2 cards when I play it. And I'm at 23, and my opponent only has 1 threat. And I have this Dingle to make the next troop they play much worse. Oh, Bigger Black Belt, I'm sorry I missed your message. Yeah, Hex Primal, their orders are guaranteed in less than 12 hours. Usually it takes less than an hour. So, Hex has an in-game mail system. You don't have to both be online at the same time. So, if you're logged into your account down in the lower right-hand corner, I can't pop it up while I'm playing a match, but you'd see a message there that says you have an in-game mail. There's my Transmogrifade that draws some cards, so yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and Transmogrifade this. It's not the biggest threat, but I want to get my card draws in, I think. And there's an Eldurathan's Glory, so let's play that, and this voids everything they control with everything everyone controls with defense 3 or less, so it gets rid of everything. And I guess we're kind of running out of gas now, but we're also through like 12 of our 25 resources, so we don't have that many left. They have Valors left in their hand, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and Dingle this just to prevent them from going wide with it. Nope. Got punished. They had a scarier thing that I wanted to Dingle more than that. It's kind of Anger of the Gods, so it doesn't actually deal damage. It only voids things that have that much defense or less. So things that are bigger than it just get to survive and don't have any damage marked on them. Fortunately, I can't attack my 5/5 into their 5/7. Maybe I was just supposed to let that happen. I think they only had the 1 Valor anyways. That was my fault. I should have been keeping track of how many Valors they had. We are at 23, so like this 5/7 is going to take a little while to beat us down at least. Hopefully we can draw some non-resources at some point this game. Wishful thinking. Well, the good news is if we survive 4 more turns, or 3 more turns, we're going to be able to use our champion power to draw 2 more cards. So one thing I need to keep in mind is that my opponent's champion power can make something not attack or block 2 turns in a row. Would love to draw another Glory here or a Dark Heart. Oh, they did have a bunch of Valors in their hand, huh? Well, remember when I said I'd like to draw another Glory? God bless. Clean that mess up. It's very powerful. One of the things that Hex is good about doing, again, Corey Burkhart's one of their designers, so, you know, he likes him, a good control deck, is their threats and answers are powerful. So, like, this threat is very powerful. It's a 4/4 for 3 with base stats that can be modified by a gem and makes phantoms when it dies. But, like, it, Howling Plains Alpha, that's gross. We also have great answers for them. That's, yep. That's a good thing. Well, that's a great hit. So this, so we're going to attack with both of our dorks here. Or sorry, this one actually can't attack. I'm going to attack for 5 with this Glory. I don't expect him to block. And then Dread End turns every troop in play into a 1/1 that sacrifices itself at end of turn. So that means this guy, instead of having a Death Cry effect, he's now going to be a crappy 1/1 that dies at the end of their turn. So my guys are going to go away, but their guys are going to go away too. And then it's the top of their deck versus the top of our deck. And this resource is our 14th resource. So we're going to get to draw 2 cards next turn. Wow, that's aggressive. So they just Valored. Oh, I guess this means this kills us through a blocker because of their champion power. That makes sense. Deny. Okay, we have to hit a piece of removal here in 2 draws. A blocker is not going to do it because they have their champion power active. Need a Pride's Fall or something. Alright, that'll do 2. This means we gain 5 life. Let's start by Arcane Focusing here and see what we find in case we find removal. Another Adjudicator. Huh. You think I'm just going to think that's better than a Deny? That might not be better than a Deny. I'm just going to pass the turn here so I can leave this Deny up. This, for 3 costs, interrupts a card my opponent plays. So if they draw another bomb here, we can get in the way of that. Yeah, I think I have to deny that because this is just going to make it bigger, which kind of sucks. Another resource is not what we were looking for. Thankfully, we can double block this, so we'll pass the turn here. Our opponent's probably going to burn their champion power in this. Hopefully, my opponent starts drawing a resource or 2. We've drawn 15 resources, and they've only drawn 8. I guess we've also drawn a lot more cards than them, though. We've got 22 cards in our deck, and they've got 38. That's really unfortunate for us. Man, we're going to lose this game, aren't we? You guys have to take this hit here. They get a Valor from the Hero of Legend. The top of their deck was real good. We have to chump block this next turn. Yeah, Dark Heart would be a very good draw. You're not wrong. A lot of good draws. Huh. I'm going to double block here. This kills us if they drew Gift to the Manti or some kind of combat trick, but I think going to 1 is right here. So we get to kill off their thing. Ugh. All of their cards are so good. They keep drawing only good cards. And another resource. Womp womp. It's the downside of games that have resources in their deck. They're a good and bad thing. They make for interesting deck building requirements when you're building, but they definitely make some of the games a little bit anticlimactic. So how do you get cards in this game? There's a couple different ways. Actually, it's a good time to plug the sponsor. This advertisement here right above my head is for a website called hexprimal.com. They're a third-party website that buys and sells Hex TCG singles, and if you use code Jeff5 there, you'll save 5% on all of your orders. The game also has an in-game auction house where you can use in-game currency to buy and sell cards from other players. There's a trade chat where you can send cards via an email system, basically, and have cash on delivery. So, like, send a person a card that you've agreed to pay, 100 platinum for, and there's a checkbox on there in order for them to get that card, they have to send you the 100 platinum back. You could also grind the in-game currency playing the free-to-play aspect, or even on the ladder if you have a cheaper deck, and earn rewards that way. It really depends on the staple Sacred Monkey. I'm quoting numbers I've been told because I end up just buying my cards. I'm not a free-to-play player. I'm told you can grind somewhere between $1 and $1.50 worth of real money per hour playing the free-to-play aspect, and you can buy a reasonable tier 2 constructed deck for about $20. So you're probably looking to play for about, however that translates for you. So opponent's playing Winter Moon, which is generally a more controlling champion. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this hand that's a little bit slower in this matchup. lead on this slow resource here. Cheap! 84 with the 3-month resubscription. Thank you for the continued support. Quarter of a year, welcome back. Well, that's miserable for us. So this card is a nightmare. We're not running good today. This card's real tough for us to beat. It is a 2 cost that says whenever they play a Socketed, one of the customizable cards, for the first time in turn, they get to draw a card. So it turns all of their Socketed cards basically into 2-for-1s because they have to deal with the Socketed card and the card that it drew. So Dark Art's a phenomenal draw. It answers that. So Dark Art says they have to sacrifice a non-Socketed card every turn. And you can see this card has a 3 here. It's going to turn into a 5. When I draw this card in a turn, it gets -2 cost that turn. Transmogrifade, sure. I'm going to go ahead and just trade these here. Yep. Miracle the Dark Heart. Yep, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and play this resource out, which puts me down to 6 cards in my hand. And my opponent has 6 cards as well. Then I can play this Silver Talon Adjudicator. And when I have 5 cards, so I'll get to draw 2 cards because my opponent has less cards than I do. So this Dark Heart, little awkward there. It had the cost reduction while I was already spent on resources, which kind of sucks, but is what it is. What's going on, Mr. Kincatter?
You know, just here, watch this terrible gameplay. Oh, wait. It's Burgle.
It's Burgle Durla. You should see. Did you see any of the modern decks I tweeted today?
The modern decks you tweeted today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was embarrassed.
Oh, lordy, they were bad. We did 3-2 at the first one, though.
Yeah. It was a competitive league.
It was a competitive league.
Capital
All capital letters. Yep, broke the format.
Wasn't sure about that one.
And the best part? Someone else paid for it. I wasn't putting my own money up on the line for that one.
Oh, like someone
I was like, someone donate $12, we'll play the Dubious Challenge deck. So they did.
Yep.
Actually, you want to you have a special one? Some of them have the weird fast charging thing.
I just need juice. I'm like pretty excited for Immortal this week. I am 2 tickets short.
I'm actually 2 tickets short too. I think that's going to be by tomorrow.
Yep.
So this card is a card we want to answer right away. This is whenever they play a Socketed card, their Socketed cards in all zones get bigger. So I just want to nip that one in the bud. I don't even know what this does. I don't think I've ever seen this card before. Exhaust target troop you control, prevent all combat damage with me. Sure.
That is a Evo special right there. That's the motor chariot of the previous set.
Attack with this. I could play this Arcane Focus to draw a bunch of cards here, but I think I want to just hold the deny up. Not quite sure what my opponent is doing, so that's true on the chip. Yep.
It always feels bad anytime you say, "Oh, shuffle that one in."
All right, opponent concedes. Not quite sure what they're doing. The extra Dark Art's probably good because they have Altar of Nulzann, and that card's really obnoxious for us. I definitely want the Miracle Gem in it. I think I actually want to put Flight in these because my opponent doesn't seem to have anything that's damage-based. It makes them slightly less good at blocking, but I think I want this as a game closer. Dingles and Denies seem reasonable.
Especially the Dingles, so they can any troops you counter don't get shuffled in for.
Oh, yeah, Winter Moon puts them all back. Actually, Dread-End seems good for that same reason, right?
It feels like, Dreaded seems great as well because they're going to scale the troops faster. You can
Is
also
Clash
do
better?
Loregoyle. Clash
Oh.
Loregoyle, too.
Yeah, let's do one of each of these. Loregoyle costs 1 to put a card from their crypt into our deck and turns it into a Tome of Lore, which lets us draw a card, so seems hot. These seem like a more troop-based Winter Moon deck. Normally, Winter Moon's more controlling. I'd like Snap bring in these verdicts, but they're pretty troop-based. They have like Altar and Sparkle Cap and stuff.
You could have looked at the Pride's Falls as well with Animus and like just some of the other stuff.
That's true. There's probably a non-zero chance there's Dark Hearts in their deck.
Yes, but that's definitely you definitely bring in the Pride's Fall if they're Blood Wild. I think.
I am from the middle of Illinois. I'm about 2 hours south of Chicago, like smack dab in the middle of the cornfields, the Bloomington normal area, if you are familiar with the great corn state I am from. I will be at Gen Con. I'm looking forward to it. So my wife and I went to Gen Con for the very first time last year, and she got hooked. We do a lot of board games. Actually, Kent is here, and Andrew is upstairs after the stream finishes up here in about a half hour or so. We're going to be spending the evening having some dinner together and playing some board games.
The best part about Gen Con is playing anything that's not Magic.
Did you guys eat dinner yet? Christy, you want to figure out where we're getting takeout from so it can be here soon? I'm hungry.
Okay, get off the computer then.
No, we're going to finish this match. Play another match or so.
Jake wants to show you his present that I'm going.
What did Uncle Mike give you? That's a pretty sweet train. My opponent is disconnected. Oh. Huh. Hopefully they're having connection issues, then just leave after the first game. What are we playing tonight for board games? Probably some Clank.
100% playing.
Playing Clank at some point. Maybe Happy Pigs is another family favorite.
Deck building game.
Oh, you have DC Deck Builder. Sweet. And
DC and I brought Sushi Go.
Sagrada is another really good one. If you're into dice games, it's kind of interesting. It's a drafting dice game. It has a lot of play to it. I keep meaning at some point, Christy and I have talked about doing some YouTube reviews of some of the games we like.
Especially Sagrada Happy Pigs.
Yeah, I feel like those ones aren't super popular. Happy Pigs is the game where I destroyed the tiles. Yep, just like took them and just shuffled them to death, basically. Splendor. I haven't heard that. What kind of game is Splendor?
Rolling your butt while I was reached back there. Oh, I've been dealing with a tendon thing for the past month. Where occasionally I'll be sitting there and it's just like, oh great, I've got a very strength. There's some very long name for it, but it wraps around and it hurts.
You should tell the monkey he has to come. He wants to watch basketball instead of hanging out.
Come here, Jojo. Hi.
Opponent, doo 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 doo. I think we're gonna have to wait for the timeout here, which is not terribly exciting. So when your opponent disconnects, they have 5 minutes to get back into the game. And it looks like my opponent has disconnected here. Yeah, Gen Con's probably going to be insane this year. Like, I've been to Indianapolis a ton of times just, like, for Magic trips and weekends. And, like, when we showed up to Gen Con last year on Wednesday or Thursday night, whenever it was, like, there were more people in the streets there than I'd ever seen in Indianapolis.
When I came for that event we did last year at Gen Con, in the 10 minutes I walked from my car to the restaurant, I saw, like, 25 people that I recognized from Magic tournaments that I
Yep.
just had like, oh, hey, you're here. How's it going?
Yep. When are you out to Seattle?
I leave Wednesday.
Wednesday? Oh.
Yeah, Wednesday. And we'll get there like Friday evening.
Well, the Mike and Joe
I think we'll get there Friday evening.
Okay.
And then championship Saturday. If I can get a good connection, we'll stream it.
Okay.
Gotta make sure I can get like I've got all my stuff packed up. It's amazing how it all fits in a duffel bag.
I don't think I've ever actually been to Dick's Last Resort in all the times that I've been to Indianapolis.
There's no reason to go there.
There's no reason to go there. Is it a chain?
It is a chain.
Okay.
100%.
I don't think I've ever seen them anywhere else.
Baltimore had one.
Okay. What's it called? If you do go to Gen Con, though, the food trucks are fantastic, and they rotate the food trucks in the afternoon. So go in the morning and then go again and scope it out again in the afternoon because the food trucks are fantastic.
I wouldn't be surprised if
No, you go.
they have a Facebook page or some sort of electronic method to check them to see what's being listed or whatever.
They do.
They do?
Do you people new?
We are, obviously.
We are. Look, half the fun is walking up and down the street and looking at what trucks are there.
Ow!
Jojo.
Oh, the old, my deck is worse than I thought it was.
So remember earlier when we talked about like something being cheaper than Magic is a low bar or better than Magic Online, better than St. Louis or Chicago, also extremely low bars that Indianapolis gets to just like, slide over the top of.
For event, we're referring to like event cities, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh god, Chicago just nightmare. Baltimore actually gets a passing grade as an event city.
There's a countdown. So I've actually got, normally it's not relevant to people watching the stream. You can see their little ticker here is going down and down and down. We're almost to the end here. Got about 35 more seconds. So normally that information is not super relevant to the people watching the stream, so I use my deck list there.
That deck list tool that I gave him, he's had such a faster turnaround on posting stuff.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
now,
He's not
now,
coding that shit.
yeah, now that he's not manually typing out the HTML for a deck list, he's just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Where are you at?
All right. We're going to queue up one more match, and then we're going to call it an afternoon. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out here today. Especially thank you to everyone that's hung out since the beginning. We've been going for about 6 hours Monday. God, what day of the week is it? All blurs. Who knows? Monday is my long stream. We start with Magic the Gathering about noon, and then we run on through the Hex stream here in the early evening.
I think I have 10 or 11.
Do you guys want, like, sandwiches, pizza, DP dough?
Like 95% chance I play.
Yeah, I think so. That deck feels really good.
Don't say crazy. Your Angus matchup is great to amazing.
Yep.
And I actually got to play against Traps.
Lixel.
Yeah.
We should play some of that.
fine.
That's the only... Okay.
I,
You just get to run them over sometimes, right?
yes, they're all of those weird, like, so, like, if they're the slightly more, like, streamlined version that I think, like, plays the From the Ashes and, like,
Okay.
doesn't play a bunch of, like, inane things, they seem to be able, like, if they're a more streamlined mid-range deck, I think they can trade up and get to a point where they From the Ashes us, like, away. But if they're kind of the full in, like, I want to get all 5 thresholds and do all that crap, they get run over. Or if you just double Runear them, or Runear them in general.
I'm a healthy mixture of boring and cheap, so I don't really drink. Except for, you know, things like flavored water.
Right now that you tell me I can drink this.
Yep, that's about it. The ladder's been slow this season.
Yeah, unless people, I think it's rotation.
Yeah, I think, yeah, people are like, that's like, yeah, we keep seeing set 7 foilers. I'm like, when can I play with set 7 cards? And then I queue up and I'm like, oh man, these are still just the set 6 cards I've been playing with.
I really just need other. I never play constructed decks. That's something that
Yep. We definitely need more constructed tournaments than Hex. Oh, geez, do we have a Dirtlemere here?
Okay, so this stream will end in an hour.
A stream will end.
I would be so happy if I could just I'm bored of standard right now. I'd rather play a Pokemon.
This hand needs some resources, but we've got a focus, so probably gonna hit that Lanupaw site and Silver Talon Adjudicator are some of our better cards in a control matchup.
I can make some weird shit.
Yeah, but see, that I would love to do like against the odds stuff like that. Type stuff. I just have so
So I expect some iteration of this deck to be competitive when the next set comes out. Probably some of the answers will change, but the biggest thing about this deck is the most expensive cards in this deck are like cross-format staples. Like, so the card Transmogrifade, one of the answers that we're playing, it's a really efficient removal spell, basically. It is the single most expensive card in this deck, and I would be very surprised if that's ever worth much less than it is now. Alright, we haven't found a diamond yet, but we did hit a 3rd resource. We're going to play this Lanupaw site next turn. Okay, so we're not playing a mirror. Opponent's got Warp Steel Shards for him. We're going to dingle that. Don't underestimate the rotation deflation. That's fair, but so Hex has consistently instilled confidence in me with their ability to make correct decisions, and I feel like at some point we're going to see increased support for Immortal, which will make those staples more valuable, and Transmog is like a 4x staple in a bunch of different Immortal decks, so I don't expect it to be worth that much less. Go ahead and play this Lanupaw site out here. And also, Transmogrifade's not rotating with set 7, so like no sets are rotating with set 7. Set 7 is just changing the gems and adding a new set to the format. And I actually think Dark Heart's going to be better with the new gems because the Sapphire gem that makes it so it always costs 1 less is really good. He's in chat. You want me to yell at him? I'll privately shame him. Alright, so that's Prophesize. I guess we're just passing the turn here. I really don't want to play this Adjudicator out here as just to gain 5 life. I want to try and draw cards with this ideally. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and deny this. Just like this puts multiple bodies into play, which is kind of annoying for us. It also lets us spend a card out of our hand. Yeah, I always want to draw more cards, exactly. I'm just a simple man who wants to draw a couple of hex cards. Is that really asking so much? I'm going to go ahead and Totem Trap this. It's only a 1-1, but like Totem Trap doesn't kill much in these matchups, so just taking their clock off the table is fine. Another Lanupaw site, sign me up. That puts 3 more draws in the bank here. So we've got a lot of Prophesize cards coming up here. So our next resource is actually going to draw 2 cards because it's got this site and this site prophesized onto it. Looks like opponents... We missed our shard drop. Opponents flooding a little bit, it looks like. The Dingler's totally a clock. Look how angry and pus-ridden he is.
You just responded, thank you for privately shaming me, not publicly.
So this Wakuna Coin draws 2 cards. It was double Prophesized, like I said. This Arcane Focus draws an extra card and then does its thing. And then this Dark Heart is perfectly sized because, oh, and it draws 2 cards. Look at that, just like that. If you're just a simple man like me who wants to draw a lot of cards, this is, boy, do I have a hex deck for you. Let me tell you what. They just transmog my Dark Heart into an all you specs of Lanupaw. So this card says, oh, which they then martyred. Yep, gotta get that one out of there. So all you spec says whenever I play an action, all of my troops get bigger, so they gotta dip that one in the bud. Oh, they have a Dark Heart of their own, which is gonna make me sacrifice my Monument to the Martyr. Hopefully, our Transmogrifade on their Dark Heart is going to go better than their Transmogrifade on our Dark Heart went. So you have to sacrifice an unsocketed card here. This Transmogrifade draws a card, because why wouldn't it? Our Silver Talon won't draw cards. It's pretty unlucky, really. Alright, 10 out of 10, take another Dingle here. Prometheus86 with the brand new Twitch subscription. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that next level of support. Welcome. I've seen you in chat before. Thanks for hanging out and stepping that support up.
Declan Scott, come here. Give me those. Come here, D. I don't trust you with my keys. Come here.
Opponent got a 2-4 out of that. It's not bad for us.
Come here, D. Come here, D. Declan, come here, you little key thief. Come here, don't make me get up. I'll destroy you.
Warp Steel Shardsworn's an interesting card for their deck. Kind of good against the aggressive decks because it goes wide.
Come here.
Start by cycling this, see what we get. Another Adjudicator. Alright, so I don't really want to jam this. Yeah, I'm just going to play an Adjudicator to gain some life. Might as well. Not going to activate my champion power just yet. So Psychic Ascension here is a card we haven't got to play. It turns us into a Paragon of Thought, so it changes our champion. And what this said is that I waited on the transmog because I didn't wait on the transmog because I didn't want them to be able to deny me. So this changes my champion to a Paragon of Thought, and the Paragon of Thought says whenever I play an action, I get a random troop. So it kind of turns my game into a game of Momir Vig. I'm gonna do this and generate my Oracle Song before we change champions. Play Psychic Ascension. Now this generates a random action. Now every time I play an action, I'm gonna get a random troop now, and my champion for one charge gives me a random action. So he's kind of self-enabling here. If our opponent doesn't find their Psychic Ascension very soon, we're just gonna bury them in random troops from this Psychic Ascension. Paragon basically just makes it so we eventually win the game by doing things we want to be doing anyways. Clash of Steel resolves, sure. So they played that just to draw a card. All they did was get rid of their own Dingle.
Oh, you got it. Now come here. Give me those. Give me those. Come here.
Academy of Cerulean is really powerful. It lets them look at their top 2 cards every turn and put one in the bottom of their deck, so they're gonna have a lot of powerful selection. But again, like, everything's kind of hinging on how soon can they get to their Paragon of Thought, and if I'm able to find a deny before they do. So, 10 out of 10. Just gonna go ahead and Oracle Song here and draw 2 cards. That makes my next action copy itself. I'm gonna play this, and I think I'm just gonna go ahead and generate a random action. We could generate an interrupt. That's pretty good. So we'll go ahead and play Parade here, which summons 2 Dorkos. Just give this Flight, and it makes a random guy when we cast it, and this summons 2 things. And then unfortunately, we're very unlucky and have to discard the hand size here. It's good pure hex the way Corey Burkhart intended it to be played. There's their Psychic Ascension. Okay, things are about to get a little wacky and wild here because we both have Psychic Ascension going now, so we're both going to be generating a lot of troops. They actually kind of have a leg up because they've got the Academy of Cerulean. We have the lead on the board right now, but that could very quickly go away. Hopefully my flying troops are able to just kind of soar overhead and beat my opponent down. You take your keys.
Yeah, and he keeps holding up the remote going, uh-oh, beep.
Uh-oh, beep. Yep.
Uh-oh, beep.
Attack with everything here. When this attacks, it gives it to one of my... Purge. This is game 1, yep. Purge takes and voids all troops that don't share a trait with the troop I'm targeting. So it does make a random 7-drop, but that 7-drop is pretty likely to die. Alright, so we're just going to play Silver Talon Adjudicator here. I think I'm just going to play another Adjudicator. Just gonna, like, get all these dorks into play here and then hope to dodge Glory. Even if they have a Glory, I could Dingle the first one. We are both hoping to get good actions. I'm firmly ahead on board, so they're gonna have to be pretty fortunate with what their hits generate. They're probably not going to get that many flyers. Like, they're actually... This is 9, 11, 12, 13. Well, that's pretty fortunate. They summoned... They hit Mirror, which lets them copy my 2 Silver Talon Adjudicators and draw for... Oh, jeez. And it made an Augur of Cerulean, too, so... Well...
There's not an R or an L in that name.
Shut up, man. It is... Alright, I lied. It's an all RNG battle. And we're losing now. Oh, Clash of Steel. Excellent. I guess I'll keep this owl. They voided their... Okay. Well, this Purge might actually do something now. I get to purge targeting my Adjudicator, which will get rid of their Augur.
That looked gross.
So this is going to void everything else. This is a Necrotic Rogue. This is an Avatar. So, yep, all of those go away. Play this out. Make another random action. And now the board's reset, and I'm still up cards here. So, you think I'm going to just hold this Dingle up as opposed to playing the Cry Eagle out? I really don't want them to get like a Dark Heart into play, I don't think.
You think you're so fun. Hey, Declan Scott.
There's a Dark Heart we were talking about. Let's go ahead and Dingle this. Webborn Apostate takes a charge for them. That's actually pretty good because we're kind of running out of resources here. Galleon Duelist. Oh, they conscripted that. Okay. It's like, where did that come from? I think I'm just going to take the hit from this and then chastise. So, Psychic Ascension number 2 is going to generate a random troop for us. And if you let this get down to exactly 0 cost, it guaranteed generates a copycat. Which could be, you know, good or bad. Maybe I'm just supposed to take that hit since I'm going to kill it anyways. Discard this draw card. Maybe I don't want to draw a card there and I just want to make the action since we're basically, this is all about the Psychic Ascension anyways. Chastise this. Get a Deathless Guardian, sure. Whoa, that's gross. Man, I think I actually have to deny that. Sure. This would turn their guy into a Monument to the Martyr, which gives all their other troops +1/+1. They have another Monument to the Martyr. Wow. I think I just have to let that happen. Their troops are bigger now. Huh. I'm going to generate a Ruby with this, and now my randomly generated actions can be Ruby, which I think gives me a leg up in the mirror. I hit a flyer. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, this doesn't do anything anymore because I'm down to... because it's in negative, so I guess I probably should have played that sooner to get a troop out of it. Yep. That's pretty good. Puts an egg in my deck. And an egg, when I draw it, my opponent gets a spider. So the random actions are the only ones you can cast. No, we can play any actions. We can draw actions out of our deck, but our champion power for 1 charge generates a random action that we're able to play. Oh, yes, we can't generate... I understand what you're saying now. Yes, that is correct. We cannot generate an action that we aren't able to play. Soul of Battle actually might help me sneak through the last points of damage at some point here. This says it makes a troop deal double damage until end of turn, and at the end of turn, that troop dies. Yep. I think I'm actually supposed to not draw cards at this point in my life because I want to not be the first one to deck. It's all about clock management now, right? Remember when I said a half hour ago this was going to be our last game? Kent wasn't lying when he said it was going to be an hour-long match. Okay, I guess I'll double block here. That's true. It does permanently gain that modifier, so if we were able to return it from the crypt somehow, it would. Okay. Okay, another Transmog to keep anything crazy in check. Yeah, I guess we're just attacking with this Saboteur. Hopefully we can dodge them generating a flying guy at some point. Lanupaw site, yep. They have multiple Academies of Cerulean. That's interesting. Seems kind of awkward with their Dark Hearts. The Blooded Redlings deck is a lot of fun. It's very powerful. You will probably, if you have a TCG background, you'll probably cut your way through the lower ranks very quickly with that deck. I think I'm just triple blocking this. We have 4 Denies in our main deck, and we've got 3 Verdict of the Ancient Kings in our board. Magnetize, Transmogrifade their guy. Hopefully it turns into something with 2 defense. Refute, alright, Transmog again. What are the odds of getting 3 Cavern Creepers? Gotta be pretty low, right? I have no idea why they're attacking with 1 guy at a time, but I'll take it. They're also, so, I mentioned earlier that the clock usually doesn't matter. These control beers, it definitely does. My opponent's currently down 3.5 minutes on clock, so they can take all the time they want making their decisions, especially if they're ones that are good for me. Boisterous Ballad, sure. This is a spell, it generates a troop for my champion power, and the spell itself generates a troop. This Lanupaw site out. And we generated another flyer, which is really good for us. Hopefully our random crappers are going to be able to, with our kind of high life total here, are going to be able to generate enough defense to keep their random crappers at bay, and we'll be able to close them out in the air here. Retreat. I can return one of the things to their hand. That's fine. Their time while DC does count against the game clock, I believe. Yeah, maybe. The double Paragon games are long. Hot is one description for them, but they're definitely long. So my opponent's got a bunch of cards in hand, but we played a Lanupaw site last turn, so... Yep, well, alright, I'll keep that one, and then the board gets cleaned up again. This is each player picks 1 card and then voids the rest. They kept just their Academy. Please don't have a Dark Heart. I guess if they have a Dark Heart, they kill this, but then they lose this. Not actually sure who's winning this game at any given point. I think it's honestly going to come down to decking with the way he keeps dealing with all of my stuff. So I guess we're going to watch the deck sizes here. Who knows, Enigma Engine? Who knows? Pretty good. Ooh, this one's got Flight 2 from the Prophesize card I played earlier. Oh, is he gonna be dead next turn? Yeah, the Soul of Battle kills them, right? This is a quick action, yep. Deck size really does matter, yep. Don't believe what the ladies tell you. The size of your deck is very relevant. Oh, come on! This card buries cards from the top of my deck, so they're going to get to mill me out, probably. I guess I am going to have to actually kill them. That's obnoxious. So, yeah. Huh. I guess I could have saved the Transmog. Well, now that they shifted to this, they can only mill me 1 card a turn, but that's probably still enough. They do still need to answer my board. I am 1 damage short of lethal. You're not wrong. Well, they just drew a bunch of cards. I guess I'll keep this one. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they keep clashing when they're ahead on board, so I'm not 100% sure what exactly is going on. Oh, look, that makes them draw cards when it deals damage to us. God bless. All right, well, Cleave is good. Cleave is great. Cleave my way through these 3 nerds, make a livid buffalo. Yeah, be nice. Opponent, so one of the things you could tell is the plinth here tells you the rank. Opponent could just be newer to the game. They are still just in gold. No, this is game 1, actually. We generated a Psychic Ascension with our Psychic Ascension. Well, I feel like we've come full circle. What's the most expensive Sapphire troop? What cost do I want to get the Psychic Ascension down to? Anyone know? Can someone do a lookup for us? Hit their time is at 15:30 and I'm at 20:30. 9. 8 is Dreadsuit. Is it 8? 8 sounds right. 7 has solid hits. Alright, so we want to get this to 7. They generated another Brood Bounty. So there's 2 spiders in my deck. What? Oh, that's gross. So the artifact... Man, they might spider us out. Wait, that's... Okay, sure. It has to be the same thresholds as this, so it needs to be exactly the same. Lordy. Man, we're gonna lose this game, aren't we? Has to be the same shards is important. No, it has to be the same shards as the cards you're playing. So the Sapphire action can only make Sapphire actions. Can only make Sapphire troops, sorry. Alright, well, the Soul of Battle, we're definitely only winning by the deck out plan at this point, and the fact that there's spiders in my deck make that a little bit of a dubious plan. At this point, I'm basically playing to burn clock off their deck, to burn their clock. Well, they exhausted my troop. Yep. Well. I'm gonna have to sacrifice this. They have to sacrifice 2 things a turn, which might be good for us. I'm not actually sure at this point. Crackling Blast is a decent draw. It destroys an attacking troop. It's gonna destroy this 6/6. We'll generate a Lunacy, right? That would be great. Are we hoping he wipes the board again? Something. So we can Crackling Blast one thing, and then this will give us a troop to block something else, and then we can Soul of Battle the thing we generate, making another troop too. So I don't think we're dead with these. Alright, Crackling Blast before blocks. Destroy this one. Okay. We have to block at least... That's unfortunate. They got a Daughter of the Poet, too. Oh, lordy. Before blocks, I'm going to solo battle this. So we can generate another troop here. Alright, we'll block those two. We can still generate some really obnoxious action, I guess. This is going to return a troop from their discard pile back to play. And again, I'm just going to continue playing at this point because my opponent's down 6 minutes on the clock now. So if I'm able to win the second game, they'll be very unlikely to win a third game. Alright, that's actually kind of funny. This draws 2 cards, and they're both Valors. It turns 2 cards in my hand into Valor. Oh, jeez. Well then, yep, play Eldurathan's Glory, void a bunch of stuff. Play this Valor, get another random. Oh, it was minus cost. Why was it minus cost? Oh, because it was the... That's really unfortunate. So they have to sacrifice 3 non-socketed things here. We're not dead on board. They have to sacrifice 3 things. And we have 3 blockers now. It depends on what they generate. But the swings in this game, the Psychic Ascension mirrors are so obnoxiously great. Like, even if we lose this game, like, this was like good, clean game of Hex, right? Just like good, clean living. All right, we're dead to the Mask of the Avenger, right? Because they can attack with these 4, I believe. Can we get an advantage bar for this game, right? I think the advantage bar has been firmly on my opponent's side for a little while now. In fact, if we were playing a paper TCG where we each had a shared clock, I probably would have conceded by now. But because we have separate clocks, because digital TCGs are great, they are just burning their time. Yep, so we're dead here. Unfortunately, going to take 4 and go down to 2. Okay. Alright, so how are we boarding in the mirror? A pseudo mirror. This seems good. Clash seems fine for when things get out of control. Dark Heart's not actually that good, I don't think. I guess they have Academy of Cerulean, which is kind of annoying. Totem Trap is abysmal. Dingle's, like, okay, but not particularly good. Glory's not great. Loregoyle Curator is the nuts, because it means we don't mill out. Transmogrifade's, like, just okay. I'm going to split a Dingle and leave 2 Transmogrifades. Think about a board like this. Oh, Dark Hearts we can change up here. I think I want... create a random action when it comes into play on these. So that way they can generate some value for us. And probably Flight on attack so it can fly over the clogged boards. I don't know, the Diamond Seers were good. I expect them to change their Dark Hearts post-board too, so I think I just want to leave the Transmogrifades in. We have, like, Clash of Steel and our own Dark Hearts to clean up their academies. I'd love to go first, try and keep my 7-minute lead. Sand's very reasonable. It's got focus and a couple of shards. I don't do video. I haven't done any video guides for Hex decks. Maybe I need to start doing those at some point, but I do written content for Hex decks. If you go to the main website, hextcg.com, I actually write for them every other week. on different constructed decks. And I have a primer about this deck up there, actually. If you look for the Sapphire Diamond control deck, they're called Deck Drill Down. If you kind of click back through their archives, you'll see a bunch of stuff from me up this season. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should have left the extra glory in because my opponent has Warp Steel Shard Sworn in their deck. I don't actually know. Their build is definitely kind of unique. I can't read. TCGs are not intended for you. Yep. Opponent does not have any Sapphire sources yet. So, like I said, hopefully we can win this game. They're at 10 minutes and 30 seconds on their clock, and we're at 17 minutes. Opponent was going to have to discard, so they just played their card to play their card. So that came into play, it generated a random action for us, which was a blindside. It readies a troop and then gives a +3/+3. This might be a quick game too, which would give them time for a game 3 if they play quickly. Play this Lanupaw site that draws an extra card. We have these Verdict of the Ancient Kings to protect this Heart of Nulzann. That out, draw an extra card. Transmogrifade, sure. 10 out of 10 would love a deny. I'm gonna go ahead and verdict this. Normally you don't want to fight over threats in matchups like this, but we have so many interrupts in my hand, and like my opponent stumbling, so I think I want to just try and pressure them with this. That could be wrong though. Could be fighting over the wrong thing. I'm not sure why they played that clash. They weren't gonna have to discard that turn. Okay, they're just conceding because they're stumbling and down on time. That's fair. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and submit, I think. I think I want the extra glory. Adjudicator's a little worse in the draw. Put the extra glory back in. Good for cleanup. On to the game 3. Maybe someone could win this game in a good, honest fashion as opposed to through the timeout. Opponent gets to be on the play for this one. He's got resources and threats. Deny is a great pickup. If they just go like Warp Steel Shard Sworn on 2 and then like have an answer to this Loregoyle Curator, we could actually be in a lot of trouble. And just apply a lot of pressure. They can cut through our threats. I guess we have a lot of threats. No Warp Steel is good for us. Arcane Focus. They don't, unless they draw like exactly Warp Steel this turn, there's nothing I want to Dingle on 3, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And Lanupaw's Sight is everything we want to be doing next turn, just like starting to generate some card velocity here. Lanupaw's Sight of their own. Sure, wouldn't have been able to Dingle that. Dingle only troops. Collecting immortal tickets, Waffle. Great. They left the Miracle Gem in their Dark Heart. That's interesting. It's actually pretty bad for us, right? We don't actually have an answer to that right now. And I guess that's the downside of having... Oh, you know what? I missequenced here. I should have played this to go down to 6 cards in hand, and then I could have played the Adjudicator and drawn cards. 10 out of 10 gonna deny. Nah, I'm just gonna Dingle this one. It's less resource efficient, but the deny could counter something important later, like a Psychic Ascension. I guess letting them hit me with this isn't the worst, because then the Silver Talon Adjudicator gets to draw a card, or gain life too. So I'm going to play this, and then before I Arcane Focus, I'm going to Silver Talon Adjudicator, because then I have less cards in my hand than my opponent, and I'll get to draw 2 cards and gain some life. Looking for a Transmog. Hey, hey, yo, hey, yo. I'm just going to pass the turn for now, because I would like to Transmog while I also have Deny Up, because I would really like to make sure this dies. It's a pretty important card for my opponent. We get to jump block this turn, because otherwise we're just going to have to sacrifice this anyways. Opponent cycled a coin and then missed their resource drop. Seems loose. Transmog this. Play him a Dark Heart. It's actually going to kill us pretty quickly. Hopefully this Dark Heart can... It's not going to live a turn cycle, is it? Well, everybody's got a Water Buffalo Lord. Maybe I'm supposed to wait there so I can have Deny protection for this when I play it. God, this is going to kill us real fast. Arcane Focus, see what we find. Well... yo, cousin, if you look on my YouTube channel, I recorded a video with it. Go ahead and play this out. I have a Deny for next turn. We're taking 6 again next turn, but this is likely going to get to Diligence and make another Buffalo for us. Every time this thing readies, it summons a random Buffalo, and then based on what Buffalo colors we have, our Buffalo get random pumps. I can get Life Drain Buffaloes. It generates a random non-unique Buffalo, so you can get Buffaloes and Thresholds you can't play. I think this is worth fighting over. Getting more Buffaloes is going to be worthwhile. What are the odds of that? It's got to be pretty low, right? This Adjudicator's going to gain us some life here. You can generate cards that aren't standard legal in Standard. It's just random effects only generate standard legal things. Alright, we can double block this at least. And then, if that doesn't work, hopefully this Dark Heart sticks. Two fighting over a Buffalo Lord, right? Alright, those at least traded off at least. Okay, okay, I feel like now that that's off the table, we're clawing our way out. Arcane Focus, show me what you got, another Lanupaw's Sight. Oh, baby. Just take the cards and inject them directly into my veins. All I want to do is draw more Hex cards. That's all I want out of life, really. Just draw all of the Hex cards. I'm just gonna play this Dark card out. Might as well. I don't have to lose my Phantom and maybe this at some point, but that's fine. The Buffalo Lord's not a voted position. You gotta earn that right. This is gonna be our last... I'm gonna keep the Wildfire, actually. This is gonna be our last match of the day, our last game. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Alright, I'm gonna attack with a Surging Wildfire. They're dead in 2 to this if they can't kill it. He's gonna hit them for 4 and then 4 again. Next turn it'll go 5 and then 5 again. Play this Loregoyle Curator out here. So Loregoyle Curator lets me pay a resource, and they're just dead to the Surging Wildfire. Didn't even have to time them out. At any rate, thank you everyone for watching. I do appreciate it. I will catch y'all around later, and I'll be back on later this week. Be sure to follow on Twitch and Twitter for updates on when I'm going live with stuff. I'm going to find someone to give a host to here real quick.